Hi friends, in this session we can discuss consumption function and saving function. Consumption function expresses the relationship between consumption and the determinants of consumption. The level of consumption depends upon a number of factors like income of the consumer, price of the commodity, expected change in prices and incomes, the political, social and economic conditions existing in the society, etc. Here, Keynes postulated a direct and linear relationship between aggregate income and aggregate consumption expenditure. As a major determinant of consumption expenditure, that is income of the consumer, Keynes expresses a direct and linear relationship between aggregate income and aggregate consumption expenditure. According to Keynes, when income increases, consumption also increases, but increase in consumption is less than proportionate to the increase in income. This law is termed as Keynes' psychological law of consumption. Keynes' psychological law of consumption states that men are disposed as a rule and on the average to increase their consumption as their income increases, but not by as much as increase in their income. That is, when income increases, consumption increases less than proportionate to the increase in income. Its implication is that average propensity to consume, that is ratio between total consumption to total income, falls as income increases. The Keynesian consumption function can mathematically stated as C is equal to A plus By. When consumption increases less than proportionate to the increase in income, the counterpart of the consumption, that is saving, increases more than proportionate to the increase in income. The Keynesian consumption function can be explained with the help of a table and diagram as given in the slide. In the table, the consumption function is given as C is equal to 40 plus 0.8y. Here, the constant 40 represents autonomous consumption. Autonomous consumption is a minimum level of consumption which is independent of the level of income. Although income is zero, the consumer consumes a minimum amount. Here 40 is the autonomous consumption and 0.8 is marginal propensity to consume. Marginal propensity to consume stands for change in consumption to the change in income or rate of change in consumption. Here it is 80%, that is 0.8. Y is the level of income. Now the table shows various levels of income and the corresponding consumption. The diagram is shown the Keynesian consumption function, that is C is equal to A plus By. Here the autonomous consumption A. Due to the autonomous level of consumption, the consumption function curve starts above the base of the diagram. Here the A. Due to the autonomous consumption, the curve starts from y-axis above 0 level and it is a linear curve which shows the direct and non-proportional relationship between consumption and income. That is, consumption increases along with increase in income but less than proportionate to the increase in income. Now, the technical terms associated with the consumption function are average propensity to consume and marginal propensity to consume. Average propensity to consume refers to the ratio between total consumption to total income, that is APC equal to C by Y. Marginal propensity to consume refers to the ratio between change in consumption to the change in income, that is MPC is equal to delta C by delta Y. MPC lies between 0 and 1 because marginal propensity to consume is always positive, but it is below the 1 or below the increase in income. Now, the major implications of consumption function are: since consumption increases less than proportionate to the increase in income and a part of income is saved, we can represent y is equal to c plus s. Therefore, since people saves, the saving should come into the economy through investment. So, the consumption function lies the importance of investment to maintain the level of income and output in the economy. Second one, there may be the possibility of overproduction and unemployment if there is disequilibrium between saving and investment. Then, declining tendency of marginal efficiency of capital. Marginal efficiency of capital refers to the expected profit on additional investment. Since in the short run, level of technology remains the same, when some of the factors increases along with the fixed factors, there is declining tendency of marginal efficiency of capital. Fourth one, the consumption function also implies the danger of over saving gap. There may be disequilibrium between saving and investment. Now, fifth one, the consumption function shows the turning points of business cycle. That is, since the autonomous consumption is there, consumption expenditure cannot fall below that minimum level. So, that indicates the lower limit of consumption or lower turning point of the business cycle. And when income increase, consumption also increase, but less than proportionate to the increase in income. The income cannot increase after a higher level. Thus, consumption function expresses the turning points of business cycle. Now we can discuss the major determinants of consumption. Although income is one of the major determinants of consumption, there are some other factors like price of the commodity, expected income, expected prices, etc. We can categorize the major determinants of consumption under two heads. They are subjective factors and objective factors. The major subjective factors are: number one, social pressure. The social pressure may lead to higher consumption expenditure. Second one, consumer expectations about future change in income and prices that will affect the present consumption expenditure. When people expect future incomes to decrease, then consumption expenditure will be reduced and people save more. Similarly, if people expect future rise in prices, then consumption expenditure increases, like that. Third one, demonstration effect. This effect or theory developed by James Dusenberry. It shows that there is a tendency of the lower income households to imitate the consumption habits of the higher income households. That will lead to increase in consumption expenditure. The fourth one, attitude of the people towards thrift. That leads to more savings. The fifth one, precautions about unexpected expenditures, which increases saving. Sixth one, foresight about family education, old age needs, etc. also leads to more saving. Then calculation about better future to improve the economic status in the coming future. People wants to save more. Then the independence or self-sufficiency of the people or enterprise. Then pride or prestige also positively affects saving, which reduces the present consumption expenditure. Now, there are some objective factors or non-psychological factors, or those factors which are quantifiable, which affects the level of consumption. They are: number one, consumer credit, which enhances the consumption expenditure or buying capacity of the people. Second one, interest rate negatively affects the consumption expenditure. Third one, income. There is direct and non-proportional relationship between consumption expenditure and income in the short run. Fourth one, income distribution. If the existing income distribution is in favor of the backward sections of the society, the consumption expenditure will be relatively higher. Then fifth one, wealth and consumption expenditure are directly related. Then stock of durable consumer goods affects the remaining demand on durable consumer goods. Then capital gains positively affected the consumption of expenditure, and if there is capital loss, that reduces the consumption. Then price level, which negatively related to consumption expenditure. Windfall gains positively affected the consumption expenditure. Then financial policies also determines the level of consumption expenditure. Similarly, last one, the socio-economic factors such as age composition of the family, of the people, then occupation and family composition, number of family members, etc. also affects the level of consumption. Now, Keynes says in the short run consumption function is stable. Therefore, in the long run we can resort to some measures to raise the propensity to consume. They are: number one, income redistribution in favor of the backward sections of the society, that will enhances the consumption expenditure in the economy. Second one, wage policy, that is higher money wages paid in accordance with the improvement in productivity increases the consumption expenditure. Then social security programs like unemployment allowances, old age pension, health insurance schemes, etc. enhance consumption in the long run. Then availability of easy credit, consumer credit facility, advertisements, educational opportunities available in the society. Then urbanization, the transportation facility also positively affects the propensity to consume in the long run. Now, In the second part, we can discuss the saving function. When consumption increases less than proportionate to the increase in income, the counterpart of consumption, that is saving, increases more than proportionate to the increase in income. Thus, saving function expresses the relationship between disposable income and saving. As disposable income increases, saving increases. That is, saving also a function of income. Saving increases more than proportionate to increase in income. Or saving function states the direct and more than proportional relationship between income and saving. The saving function can be mathematically represented as S is the function of Y, where S represents saving and Y level of income. We can derive saving function from the consumption function as given in the slide. That is, the disposable income consists of consumption plus saving, or the income Y equal to C plus S. Then from the equation we can write that S is equal to Y minus C. We know that consumption function is C is equal to A plus BY. We can substitute the consumption function in the equation S is equal to Y minus C. Then we will get S is equal to Y minus A plus BY. Then we can write it as S is equal to Y minus A minus B into Y. Now this equation can be written as S is equal to minus A plus Y minus B into Y. That is equal to S is equal to minus A plus Y into 1 minus B, when Y is given outside the bracket. Now we will get the saving function, that is S is equal to minus A plus 1 minus B into Y. Here S represents the saving, minus A autonomous consumption, 1 minus B means 1 minus marginal propensity to consume, that is marginal propensity to save. We know that MPS is equal to 1 minus MPC. 1 minus B represents MPS. Thus saving function can be written mathematically as S is equal to minus A plus 1 minus B into Y. That is shown in the diagram given here. X-axis measures disposable income and Y-axis measures saving. Now, due to the existence of autonomous consumption, saving function starts from X-axis above the base point, and saving increases along with the increase in income. Okay. Now the technical terms associated with the saving function are average propensity to save and marginal propensity to save. Average propensity to save refers to the ratio between total saving to total income. APS is equal to S by Y. Marginal propensity to save refers to the ratio between change in saving to change in income. That is, MPS is equal to delta S by delta Y, or MPS is equal to dou S by dou Y. Since APC, APS, MPC, MPS are fractions to the income, that is income either consumed or saving, we can write that number 1, average propensity to consume plus average propensity to save, APC plus APS will be equal to 1. We can derive this from the general equation y is equal to C plus S. By dividing both sides of the equation with y, we will get y by y is equal to C by y plus S by y. That is 1 is equal to APC plus APS. Thus we get APC plus APS is equal to 1. Then APC is equal to 1 minus APS and APS will be equal to 1 minus APC. Similarly, the second property or second point is marginal propensity to consume plus marginal propensity to save is equal to 1. This property also can be derived from the general equation y is equal to C plus S. Then delta y will be equal to delta C plus delta S. By dividing both sides of the equation with delta y, we will get delta C by delta y plus delta S by delta y is equal to delta y by delta y. That is MPC plus MPS is equal to 1. Then MPC will be equal to 1 minus MPS and MPS will be equal to 1 minus MPC. Now we can conclude here. Thank you.